This program is provided by Universal Genesis.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty ambitious.
We are. It's not just about listing Nobel winners.
No, definitely not. We're looking at the whole sweep, like 125 years of Nobel Prizes, starting back in 1901.
And the real question is, what does all that accumulated knowledge, that collective inquiry, tell us about, well, what we're even trying to do as humans seeking knowledge?
Exactly. What are the fundamental goals? It's like finding the shape of human thought itself through the lens of these awards.
And it's interesting, if you lay out the 6 categories, physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature, peace, and then economics added later,
Right.
you can almost see them as forming this, let's call it a 6-sided cube of human knowledge.
Okay, I like that. A cube.
Yeah, trying to encompass everything. You've got nature with physics and chem, life with medicine, consciousness and meaning, maybe with literature.
Society with economics, and then this ideal of coexistence with the Peace Prize. It sort of covers the map.
It attempts to, yes. And think about the very beginning, 1901.
That first year really set the tone, didn't it?
It absolutely did. You had Röntgen winning in physics for X-rays, fundamentally changing how we see inside things, a total shift.
A boundary breaker.
Right. And then in medicine, von Behring for the diphtheria treatment, that saved lives, like, immediately.
So right from the start, you have this interplay between fundamental discovery and very practical, life-altering application.
Precisely. Impact rooted in that original vision. But it's important we flag the economics prize here.
Yes, the slight outlier.
Well, it's often lumped in, and it's hugely important, but you have to remember it's technically the Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel.
Right. Established much later by the Swedish Central Bank, 1968, first awarded 69.
Exactly. So not one of the original 5 from Nobel's will, still part of our cube, but with that footnote.
Understood. Okay, let's dive into that cube, part 1. The physical and biological domains. Let's start with physics. The source is painted as this engine for destruction and transcendence of old boundaries.
That captures it perfectly. Physics never seems satisfied. Think about the journey from classical mechanics to relativity, then quantum mechanics. It's always finding limits and then just smashing through them.
Whether it's the scale, like macro versus micro, or just fundamental concepts we thought were solid.
Right. And if you synthesize across all those physics prizes, a couple of big themes really jump out. First, there's this relentless drive for unification.
Trying to tie everything together.
Yeah, finding the connections, the deeper laws that link gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces. It's almost a kind of aesthetic or philosophical quest for unity.
Okay, unification.
Yeah.
And the second theme.
This one's maybe more profound philosophically. It's the constant grappling with chance versus necessity, randomness versus deterministic law.
The quantum weirdness.
Exactly. Classical physics was all about prediction, necessity. If you know the inputs, you know the output. But quantum mechanics, which has won so many Nobels, forces us to accept this interplay between things that must happen according to law and things that only might happen based on probability.
So physics reveals a universe that's both ordered and surprisingly flexible or random at its core.
You could say that. It keeps redrawing the boundaries of reality itself.
Okay, let's shift that lens to chemistry. If physics breaks boundaries, chemistry seems to be about building bridges. It's focused on material change, right?
Absolutely. Chemistry is a science of transformation, but it's deeply concerned with structure and function. How does the way atoms are arranged in a molecule
Determine what that molecule can actually do.
Precisely. And that inherently makes chemistry incredibly interdisciplinary. It has to talk to physics about the underlying forces, and it has to talk to biology about how these molecules work in living systems.
So it's always looking outwards.
And inwards. The prizes often reward the development of new materials and techniques. Think catalysts, polymers, methods like CRISPR in recent times, which has chemistry at its heart, tools that let us manipulate matter in totally new ways. It's about making as much as understanding.
Making, based on understanding the rules. Okay, now let's move to physiology or medicine. What's the deep philosophical thread running through the life sciences prizes?
Medicine, I think, explores the philosophy of life as a dynamic process. It's not static. How does life persist?
Right, what keeps it going?
Well, first, the prizes repeatedly highlight the discovery of life's internal rhythms. Our biological clocks, sleep cycles, metabolic processes, nerve impulses. Life operates on these intricate, timed schedules.
It's like at its own tempo.
Definitely. Second, there's this fundamental drive towards equilibrium or homeostasis. Life is constantly fighting to maintain internal stability, temperature, pH, nutrients against the chaos of the outside world.
It's a constant balancing
A
act.
philosophical commitment to order, almost. And third, to manage all this, you need communication. So a huge theme is uncovering that invisible communication network.
Hormones, the nervous system.
Exactly. Understanding how these signals connect the entire body, making it a truly unified organism, not just a bag of parts. It's about integration and control to maintain that precious stability.
That idea of an integrated system is a perfect bridge, actually, to the next part, society, meaning coexistence. Let's start with economics.
Okay, so if physics seeks universal laws for nature, economics, in a way, tries to find the principles for social order. The goal seems to be establishing a kind of rationality imbued with ethics.
Interesting phrase. How does that play out?
Well, what's fascinating is how the focus shifted over time. It wasn't just about abstract models of markets. The prizes increasingly recognize the crucial importance of institutions and rules.
Like property rights, governance, contract.
Exactly. The framework within which economic activity happens. Understanding the rules of the game, not just the player's moves.
But economics often seems messy, irrational even. How does the prize deal with that?
That's the second key theme. Grappling with information and uncertainty. Recognizing that information is rarely perfect or symmetrical. People have biases. Decisions are made with limited knowledge. This led to groundbreaking work on behavioral economics, asymmetric information.
Challenging that purely rational model.
Right. And this connects to the third major trend, which is a growing focus on structural inequality and disparity.
Why do some economies grow and others stagnate? Why do markets sometimes fail whole populations?
Yes. The inquiry moves from idealized efficiency towards understanding the real-world complexities, failures, and ethical dimensions of economic systems. It's become much more grounded in social reality.
Okay, from the structure of society to perhaps the human spirit within it, let's talk literature. This prize feels different. It's about exploring existence itself through language.
It is unique. It's where consciousness examines itself. Looking at the laureates, you see recurring patterns. First, this constant dialogue between the specific individual experience and universal human truths.
One person's story speaks for many.
Exactly. Second, there's this powerful dynamic of silence and voice. Literature often gives language to things that have been suppressed, hidden histories, marginalized perspectives, traumas.
Bringing the unspoken into the light.
Beautifully put. And third, there's a deep fusion of ethics and imagination. Literature doesn't usually preach, but it makes you feel moral dilemmas. It illuminates ethical questions through story, character, and empathy.
Forcing you to engage emotionally, not just intellectually.
Right. It shapes our moral landscape through narrative.
That ethical core leads us straight to the Peace Prize.
Yeah.
This one is the most explicitly focused on values, on human dignity, on building a global citizen ideal.
Absolutely. Its philosophical aim is maybe radical coexistence. How do we live together? And the winners consistently highlight the power of dialogue and nonviolence over force.
Seeking alternatives to conflict.
Yes. But it goes deeper. There's a strong emphasis on reconciliation and forgiveness. How do you rebuild trust and community after conflict, after atrocities? That's a profound challenge the prize often recognizes.
And the scope of peace itself seems to have broadened over the years.
Tremendously. Especially in recent decades, there's a clear recognition that peace requires responsibility towards the environment and future generations.
You can't have lasting human peace on a dying planet.
Precisely. Environmental stewardship, sustainable development, these are now seen as integral parts of the peace project. It's a more holistic vision.
Okay, so we walk through the 6 sides of this knowledge cube: nature, life, society, spirit. Now, the big synthesis, if we pull back and look at all 125 years across all these fields, is there one overarching direction? A single metaphysical trajectory?
I think there is. If you had to capture the essence of this whole grand endeavor, it's the continuous, relentless effort to reconnect what has been divided.
Reconnect. How so?
Well, connecting physical forces, connecting structure and function in chemistry, connecting body systems in medicine, connecting individuals to universals in literature, connecting people despite conflict and peace, connecting rationality and ethics in economics. Knowledge itself seems to be the act of weaving things back together.
Into a more coherent whole.
Okay.
But it's not a static picture, right? It's always moving.
Exactly. It's dynamic, which leads to what we might call the 3 fundamental axes or vectors of all human inquiry. It's not just about connection.
All All right, what are they?
First, connection or network. We just talked about this. Discovering the links, the interdependencies, seeing the world as a web from physical laws to social structures.
Got it. Connection.
Second, change or transition. Everything is in flux. Nothing is static. Physics sees evolving universes. Chemistry sees reactions. Biology sees evolution and adaptation. Societies change. Ideas evolve. Knowledge tracks and participates in this constant becoming.
Connection and change. Makes sense. What's the third?
The third is crucial, expansion or enlargement. The system of knowledge isn't closed. It's constantly opening up. Every discovery reveals new questions, new territories.
So it's not just connecting and changing within a fixed box. The box itself is getting bigger.
Infinitely bigger, potentially. Physics finds new particles. Cosmology finds new structures. Medicine finds new pathways. Literature finds new ways to express experience. It's a process of ceaseless self-creation and opening towards the unknown.
Wow. Okay, so let me try to put that together. The entire history of human intellectual inquiry, as reflected in the Nobels, is this unending quest to connect everything, understand its constant change, and through that very process, expand our understanding infinitely across all dimensions: nature, life, society, spirit.
That's a powerful synthesis. I think that captures the dynamic.
There's a but, isn't there?
There is. We have to bring ourselves back into the picture. All this connecting, changing, expanding. It's humans doing it. We aren't detached observers.
Right. The sources mentioned challenging this idea of de-anthropocentrism, trying to pretend we're not at the center of our own inquiry.
Exactly. It's maybe a flawed goal to try and be completely non-human-centric. We are human subjects, embedded within the very systems we're studying.
So what's the alternative?
Perhaps what we need is a responsible humanism. Acknowledging our position, our intelligence as part of the natural world, and understanding that our knowledge has consequences for us and for the planet.
So it's not about pretending we're not here, but about recognizing our role and acting responsibly from here.
Precisely. Take climate change, for instance. We talk about abnormal weather.
Yeah.
But it's abnormal for human civilization, for our stability, our agriculture. The planet itself has seen far wilder shifts over millennia. The abnormality, the crisis, is defined by its impact on us.
Because we're part of the system being impacted.
Yes. So the most humble and frankly the most effective stance is to recognize our limits, our interconnectedness, and act with that responsibility. Preserving the larger system isn't just altruism, it's self-preservation. That the sources say the ocean is polluted and humans can no longer eat fish. The consequence comes back to us.
Okay, so viewing the Nobel Prizes through this lens, they become a record of humanity trying to be a better, more informed participant, a kind of node of resonance.
I like that phrase. A node of resonance within the world. The world using human consciousness, our science, our art, our ethics, to understand itself, its connections, its changes, its limits.
The goal isn't to escape being human, but to be the most aware and responsible humans we can possibly be, using knowledge wisely.
That seems to be the deeper ethical implication.
Which brings us right back to you, our listener. We've landed on this idea. Human inquiry is this constant drive to connect, change, and expand infinitely.
So the question for you is, where does your own work, your own curiosity, fit into that grand dynamic? Whether you're a scientist, an artist, an activist, a teacher, whatever you do.
How is your personal quest pushing connections, navigating change, or opening up new expansions? Think about the boundaries you're engaging with and what responsibility comes with that knowledge.
Something to reflect on.
Definitely. We'll leave you with that thought. Talk again soon on The Deep Dive.
This program is provided by Universal Genesis.